Welcome to Tyler Matters, where we discuss what's going on within the community. Today, I'm here with Larry Everett from the Neighborhood Services Department for the City of Tyler. Thank you so much for being here, Larry.
Thank you for having me, Amber.
Today, we're going to discuss one of the programs you have, which is the CDBG program. Did I say that right?
That's correct. That's a mouthful, but CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant Program. And that is one of the grant funds that we receive from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD, and we manage the funds for this area. We also have another fund that we manage. It's called the Home Partnership Program, which is part of the overall concept in the Community Development Department.
Oh, okay. So there's two different types of programs within one kind of.
Yes,
got you.
It is.
So what is the purpose or the mission that you guys are hoping to achieve with these two programs?
The purpose always have to follow the HUD guidelines. It has to address three national objectives set by HUD, which we have to address low to moderate income people, families, or areas, and we have to address slum and blight, and the last part we have to address an urgent need or emergency need in the area.
Oh, okay. And that sounds like a lot of regulations that you guys have to go through, and the mission and all that fun stuff. There's the two programs. How do you receive funding like this year or the fiscal year? How many guarantees or grantees are there?
Yes, well, we're allocated funding each year, and it's based on the results that we have accomplished the previous year. And it's a systematic application that HUD sets up in terms of the allocation, and we never know what we're going to receive, but we get it through some part of the year. And like for instance, this year we receive about $851,000 for the CDBG grant, and about $341,000 for the home grant. And we use those interchangeably, or we have to use those separately, because CDBG and home, even though we have the same national objectives that we have to cover, but they have different guidelines that we have to be mindful of, and different qualifications that we have to be mindful of when we are using those funds for the people in the city of Tyler.
Got you. And those funds, they have to be a little careful about. Are they just for like organizations? Are they just for the city, or are they specifically for individuals, or does it kind of range?
It's a combination. We do have some for the organizations, which we call the public service grants, which are those low to moderate income agencies or nonprofit agencies that serve those people or serve those level of people. They can apply for funds that we allocate each year, and it's required that we have to give 15% of our budget to those agencies who apply for funding. And then also for the individuals, we do various projects that we do to help those individuals that are in need, and we also can do things for the city itself in terms of things that we do on a regular basis, maybe from other city departments that they do that fund people that are in need, and then we can support those areas too. And some of the things that we do, for instance, on the CDBG side, we do things like, for instance, clearance and demolition. We do minor repair, we do urgent repair, we do new construction, reconstruction.
Oh, wow.
We do public facilities. What that means is we can go in and do street projects and park renovations in an area that's considered low to moderate income area. And that is based on the census tract areas that we follow, given to us by HUD. We know where those areas are within the city, and we can spend money in those particular areas.
Wow.
And then also some of the funds are used for administrative costs, because we have to prepare a lot of things to paperwork, budget, and things of that nature to get into those areas. And I did address the public service agencies, and what we do is they submit applications to us at a given time of the year. And we have a committee, which is we call our Request for Proposal Committee, which is made up of citizens that we bring in on this committee. And they will look over all the applicants' grants, and then we will look at them and find out, score them in a certain way, and find out, first of all, are they eligible? Do they meet the needs from HUD? And if they are, we can qualify them to possibly receive some funds. And we grade them based on what they do and the amount of service they provide. And that is upcoming this year. We're going to start accepting applications sometime in a latter part of this month, in March. And we do it in March of every year. And some of the agencies that we fund are the Literacy Council, North Tyler Daycare Center, Habitat for Humanity. And let's give you an example of the agencies we fund. And individuals can also apply for those if they have a certain need that meets the national objectives that are set by HUD.
Got you. And you spoke that the committee is made up of citizens.
Right.
Can citizens also participate in maybe the decision making or the planning of other allocations of the funds or any other projects that you're doing?
Yes, they can. And that is a requirement, because what we have to do each year when we do our annual plan, we have to do a public forum or a public notice in terms of allow citizens to come in and discuss about what we do with our funding. And we do that each year, and we allow them we do a public notice in the newspaper. We advertise in the newspaper or wherever else we can advertise in a given area. And they can come in on that day we do that. We do it twice. And what we call provide citizen input. And we tell them what we're going to use the funds for. And they'll refer back to us in terms of what they think needs to be done in certain areas. And we'll look at that and we'll assess that. And we have to consider that in terms of when we develop our annual plan, because everything that we do has to follow our annual plan and our 5-year consolidated plan. And once we follow the guidelines, and if we have some input from citizens that feel that we should do this instead of that, and then we can make an adjustment to our annual plan if it's eligible, and then we can follow that guideline. So we do have some good responses from citizens, and they provide us with some input, particularly areas we might not know that some things are going on, and then we can address those needs.
Are there any reoccurring or most frequent things that the citizens do come to you and be like, we think the funds should be situated over here or used for so-and-so? Is there any reoccurring?
It is, but be honest with you, Amber, most of the things that we get are for things we're already doing. Like, for instance, our biggest need and our biggest applicant pool are people that's needing repairs on their home, and that's our minor repair program. And we do that every year, and this year we have about 61 applicants that we're going to do some minor repairs on.
Oh.
And then out of that program, we also do what we call our rehabilitation and reconstruction program. And what that means is our rehab program is a little higher level than minor repair. We do major repairs on those housing units. It can get up to $30,000 to $50,000 on the unit that maybe need some repairs. On the minor repair program, we limit it to $5,000 per unit. So therefore, we can expand that out a little further in terms of helping more people. If it's someone that's disabled or need ADA compliance on their home, we can provide up to $10,000 per unit. Wow. And then, of course, our reconstruction program is those programs where the house is infeasible for us to put funding into the house because it's so far gone or so in disrepair that we will tear down the structure and rebuild a new home in that same location. And that is our reconstruction program, which is also a popular program. And we have, at this given time, we have about eight reconstruction projects going on right now in the city of Tyler.
Oh, wow, that is great. They're doing so much for individuals, but when it comes to helping individuals, it's helping the community as well, and the economic growth and recovery. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because I know there's a lot of more information that you could give us about that.
Right, and that's what community development is all about, because of the fact we go in and develop those communities that may not have seen any development in years. And one thing in terms of particularly like our demolition program, we remove substandard properties off of the tax roll, and we can help eliminate that slum and blight into the area. And also when we do reconstruction, we get rid of eyesores in the community and we build another home there. So it also brings a better structure on the tax roll, and we can do a lot more in terms of increasing that community. And we have another program called our HIP program, where we actually, it ties in with our demolition program. We actually demolish substandard properties, and we only demolish vacant lots. I want to say that. We can't demolish homes that people are living in at that point, because we can't displace people out of their own homes. But we will demolish the homes, and those vacant lots, particularly if they are abandoned, they become available to us, and then we can either sell them out to other people or sell them to a contractor, where we partner with contractors, and they can build a structure on that property. Whereas the property was an eyesore or a detriment to the city and the county. But when we come back in and do what we have to do, it puts the property back on the tax roll, and then it makes an active unit in terms of not only for the tax base, but also for the neighborhood and also for people that need housing, because there is a shortage of housing in just about every community, and Tyler is no different.
Exactly. And you seem to have a program for everything, to address everything. Next thing you know, you pop up, we have this program. I was like, oh, Larry has a program for everything I need to do.
Well, a lot of them is kind of tie in together, but they kind of interchange with each program, and we try to address all the needs if we can. One of the other popular programs we have is our first-time homebuyer program.
Oh.
And that is where we provide homebuyer assistance for those people that have had problems trying to buy a home. And we use the term, we buy down the loan. And what that means is we help them with an amount in terms of becoming a first-time home buyer. And they can either buy a pre-owned home, or they can buy a new home by another contractor, or they can buy a home that we actually build. We build new homes. We develop in neighborhoods also too. And there's a different amount that we use for that. And it's a structure that's set by the partnership with the city and HUD. As for example, for a pre-owned home, we can provide up to $7,500 for down payment and closing costs. And if a contractor has built a new home somewhere else in the city that one of our clients would like to buy, we can provide up to $14,999 for down payment and closing costs. And then if it's a home that we build, which is a HUD-initiated home, we can provide up to $25,000 for down payment and closing costs.
Oh, wow.
And everything's is based on each individual. So there's just no guarantee that everyone get the same amount, but it's based on your eligibility, and you have to apply. And all of our programs, just like on the housing side, are income-based programs. So we do some calculations based on your income.
Got you. And are all of these programs and applications located on a website? Is it on y'all's planning or the website, or?
Yeah, we have some on our website. The only thing, we don't have all of them on the website, because a lot of them are time-dated application. They only apply at certain times of the year, and we do that. And then once that time comes about, that period, we will put them up on the website for them to apply for. And then we have a certain process that we go through in terms of where they can come into the office and also fill out applications. So it's a very reliable program, and a lot of people know about it, so they know when those dates come around, so they'll be ready to apply for those programs.
Got you. So if I'm a citizen and I think I could qualify for one of these programs, and I need one of my house rehabilitated, what are the steps that I need to take?
Well, first of all, you contact our office, and you can talk with myself or one of my staff members and let us know what your problem is. And then we will go out and make an assessment. We'll go out and do what we call a site visit. And we'll go out and make an assessment of that structure. Say, for instance, it's you have some housing issues that you need some repairs on, and you can't afford it. And we'll go out and look at it and see if that is an eligible activity, or if there's an eligible repair that we can do. And if it is, then of course you will come in and fill out an application. And then we have to have all the documentation to support your income. And once you get past that hurdle, and then we will put you on the active list, and then we will go through. And everything is a first come, first served basis. And we'll go through the process. And what we do, we partner with area contractors. We don't actually do the nail and hammer ourselves. And so we do a public bid to the contractors, and whoever bid on the job, and then we will. Most of the time we give it to the lowest bidder, and that's kind of the rule of thumb we follow. And then we hire that contractor to do that repair for that individual or that family. And so once that is done, and then depends on the amount, sometimes if it gets over 10 to 20 or 30,000 or higher, we have to put a lien on the property. And a lien is not necessarily for us to take the property, but the lien is for them to guarantee to stay in the property a certain length of time after we make that repair. So those are some guarantees that we have to put on properties. For instance, the reconstruction program, when we go in and tear down someone's old home and build another home, we infused a great deal of money into those homes. And so the homeowner has to sign a contract with us, and they are required to live in that home at least 10 years after we infuse the CDBG funds into, or home funds into that project.
Got you. And you said that is a first come, first served basis. On that, is there like a cutoff? Like, is it money when y'all like allocate certain money for each program, or is it participant wise that you cut off? Is there any cutoff like that?
It's both ways. It's a certain period that we participate, that the citizens have to participate in the program. Like for instance, in the minor repair program, we only take applications in the month of November.
Oh, okay.
And then, other programs, there may be a cutoff period because everything is predicated on the funding we receive. So if we run out of funds, we have to cut that program off at the time till we receive funds for the next year. So it varies, and on the first-time home buyer program, it's year-round. We can apply anytime. A citizen can apply anytime during that program. So each program has a different category that we look at, and but it's pretty open to the citizens, and we try to let them know, inform them up front what needs to be done. And if they miss the deadline, then they could be prepared for the next year, for the following year, for the deadline for them to apply also.
Got you. And going back to talking about all of these fund grants and funds that you do for the community, how many do you think that you have affected by using your CDBG grant?
Wow, that's a interesting question.
I put you?
But you know, the grant has been in effect with the City of Tyler since 1974. And so since that time, I can pretty much say we probably infused over $30 million into the community. And with our allocation, we usually receive about, and we've been cutting allocation every year because the economy is not very good. And so we usually receive total, when I say CDBG and home grant, about $1.2 million every year that we infuse into the community. And our goal is to use all those funds to help people within the community. And sometimes people might look at that as a lot of money, but we can't help everyone, but we can help just about as many people as we can. And then we try not to turn away people, but however, when we run out of funds, we really don't turn them away. We just say, well, we're out of funds this year, so next year we'll put you on the list, and then you can apply for those funds next year.
Oh wow! Yeah, I've driving around Tyler, I've seen little pop-ups. I think it's off. Is it Court?
Hunter's Court.
Yes, Hunter's Court.
Hunter's Court,
which is a beautiful addition that I heard that was something from y'all.
Right.
And those are just some beautiful houses, and a lot of people may think that when building new houses, it might just be a little 4-room or 4-wall, one room. But and some of the houses that you guys put together are extremely beautiful, and
yes,
I would love to live there.
Yes,
but I can't get on the list of 500 people.
But I'm glad you like that, because our Hunter's Court is kind of our showpiece right there, because that is our HUD-initiated homes. We built 6 units in that cul-de-sac, and actually, to be honest with you, we had. Even though it's geared for low to moderate income families, but we had, out of those 6 homes, we had all 5 homes sold before we finished completing them. Only one that we had to put on the market to sell, and we finally got that sold. But right behind Hunter's Court, we did another development on Paul Street, which we have 9 to 10 homes over in that area also too. So we also look at, in terms of developing neighborhoods, because that's one we can go in and make a huge impact by putting a complete neighborhood within that area. And people are really receptive to that. And once we do that, then we get a lot of people coming in and want to purchase some of those homes.
Yes, and then just by improving a small little area, it just starts flourishing all around it. And you guys have done a great job all around the city of Tyler, and continuing to do it with all the helpful programs that you do have. And I really appreciate you informing us about that and kind of giving me some insight into that, as well as our viewers. Is there anything else you would like to leave us with that we've forgot or didn't mention?
Well, one thing I want to bring out, and you mentioned about the citizen input, we do have what we call our target areas. We target an area each year that we go in and do a great deal of work into certain things, and it's predicated on the council members' districts. And so we work with the council members within that district, and they can come in and tell us areas that they're having issues at, and we'll go in and address those. And as it stands right now, this year's target area is over on Carter Boulevard, over near T.R. Griffith Park. And we're going to install curb and gutter into that area. and then we're going to do some renovations on their park. And that is an eligible activity, and it's all done with CDBG funds. And that's kind of sprucing up an entire neighborhood, and where we affect a lot of people. We might not be doing construction on one house, but when we go in and do street improvements and park improvements, we affect that entire neighborhood, and that has a big impact that we found. And we like to rotate it out every year in each council member districts who located in those census tract areas I talked about earlier, and then and we find that to be very impactful also too. And citizens can come in and provide input when they come into our public forums, and give us an idea about if they have a park in their area, if they have street problems in their areas that we can address, and then that's how sometimes we make a decision on those target areas.
Kind of see what most interest is and who's all backing it. Understandable. Well, I really appreciate it, Larry, and thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and please join us in for some more Channel 3 segments.